ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। ॐ निधये सर्वविद्यानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां गुरवे सर्वलोकानां दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सदाशिवसमारम्भां व्यासशङ्करमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पाद शङ्करं लोकशङ्करम्। ॐ शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः। ॐ भवता जनता सुहिता भविता निजबोधविचारण चारुमते कलयेश्वर जीव विवेकविदं भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं भवशङ्कर देशिक मे शरणं। In Parayanam, let us chant from Pranava Upasana mantras. ओम समस्त ब्रह्म विद्या आचार्येभ्यो नमः ऋषिभ्यो नमः मुनिभ्यो नमः गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्री वेदव्यास वैशंपायन याज्ञवल्क्य आद्य शंकराचार्य वर्यादि गुरुभ्यो नमः अस्मद्गुरुभ्यो नमः। Please don't miss this chanting. All of you also kindly do it. Keep the book in front. Let this be a great beginning and practice to chant the Veda mantras, Upanishad mantras, along with utmost devotion to the Rishi Parampara to whom this Brahma Vidya is revealed. With the blessings of the Brahma Tattva, Ishvara, Shruti Mata, as well as the Anugraha of this Rishi Parampara, slowly, steadily, the meaning of all these mantras starts revealing to us and happening to us in our experience. To have that ultimate result, this chanting is the beginning, followed by trying to see the meaning of these mantras through Bhashya, then the effort to do the practice, whatever is taught or learned from there. Start. Om. Omiti Brahma, Omitidagam Sarvam, Omityetadanu Krutihasmava, Apyo Shravayetya Shravayanti, Omiti Samani Gayanti, Ogum Shomiti Shastrani Shagum Santi, Omityadvaryo Pratigaram Pratigrunati, ओमिति ब्रह्मा प्रसौति ओमित्यग्निहोत्रमनुजानाति ओमिति ब्राह्मण प्रवक्षन्नाह ब्रह्मोपाप्नवानीति ब्रह्मैवोपाप्नोति। ऋतं च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च सत्यं च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च तपश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च दमश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च शमश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च अग्नयश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च अग्निहोत्रं च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च अतिथयश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च मानुषं च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च प्रजा च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च प्रजनश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च प्रजापतिश्च स्वाध्याय प्रवचने च सत्यमिति सत्यवचाराथीतरः तप इति तपो नित्यः पौरुषेष्टिः स्वाध्याय प्रवचने एवेति नाको मौद्गल्यः तद्धि तपस्तद्धि तपः अहं वृक्षस्य रेरिव कीर्तिः पृष्ठं गिरेरिव ऊर्ध्वपवित्रो वाजिनीव स्वमृतमस्मि द्रविणगं सवर्चसं सुमेधा अमृतोक्षितः इति त्रिशङ्कोर्वेदानुवचनं वेदमनोच्चाचार्योऽन्ते वासिनमनुशास्ते सत्यं वद धर्मं चर स्वाध्यायान्मा प्रमदः आचार्याय प्रियं धनमाहृत्य प्रजातन्तुं मा व्यवच्छेत्सेः सत्यान्न प्रमदितव्यं धर्मान्न प्रमदितव्यं कुशलान्न प्रमदितव्यं भूत्यै न प्रमदितव्यं स्वाध्याय प्रवचनाभ्यां न प्रमदितव्यं देवपितृकार्याभ्यां न प्रमदितव्यं मातृदेवो भव पितृदेवो भव आचार्यदेवो भव अतिथिदेवो भव यान्यनवद्यानि कर्माणि तानि सेवितव्यानि नो इतराणि यान्यस्माकं सुचरितानि तानि त्वयोपास्यानि नो इतराणि ये के चास्मच्छ्रेयागंसो ब्राह्मणाः तेषां त्वयासनेन प्रश्वसितव्यं श्रद्धया देयम् अश्रद्धया अदेयं श्रिया देयं ह्रिया देयं भिया देयं संविदा देयम् अत यदि ते कर्म विचिकित्सा वा वृत्तविचिकित्सा वा स्यात् ये तत्र ब्राह्मणाः सम्मर्षिणः युक्ता आयुक्ताः अलूक्षा धर्मकामा स्युः यथा ते तत्र वर्तेरन् तथा तत्र वर्तेथाः अथाभ्याख्यातेषु ये तत्र ब्राह्मणाः सम्मर्षिणः युक्ता आयुक्ताः अलूक्षा धर्मकामा स्युः यथा ते तेषु वर्तेरन् तथा तेषु वर्तेथाः एष आदेशः एष उपदेशः एषा वेदोपनिषद एतदनुशासनम् एवमुपासितव्यम् एवमुचैतदुपास्यं शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मावादिशं ऋतमवादिशं सत्यमवादिशं तन्मामावीत तद्वक्तारमावीत आवीन्माम् आवेद्वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ओमत श्री कृष्ण यजुर्वेदान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय शाखान्तर्गत तैत्तिरीय उपनिषद ओम यस्मात् जातं जगत् सर्वं यस्मिन्नेव प्रलीयते येनेदन्धार्यते चैव तस्मै ज्ञानात्मने नमः। ओम यैरिमे गुरुवे पूर्वं वदवाक्यप्रमाणदः व्याख्याताः सर्ववेदान्ताः तान् नित्यं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। ओम तैत्तिरीयकसारस्य मयाचार्यप्रसादतः विस्पष्टार्थरुचीनां हि व्याख्येयं सम्प्रणीयते। ओम अथ प्रथमा शिक्षा वल्ली प्रथमोऽनुवाकः शान्तिमन्त्रः। ओम शन्नो मित्रः शं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वामेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतो तद्वक्तारमवतो अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। ॐ अथ षष्ठोऽनुवाकः। प्लीज चैंट द सिक्स्थ अनुवाक। ॐ स य एषोऽन्तरहृदय आकाशः तस्मिन्नयं पुरुषो मनोमयः अमृतो हिरण्मयः अन्तरेण तालुके य एषस्तन इवावलम्बते सेन्द्रयोनिः यत्रासौ केशान्तो विवर्तते व्यपोह्य शीर्षकपाले भूरित्यग्नौ प्रतितिष्ठति भुव इति वायौ सुवरित्यादित्ये मह इति ब्रह्मणि आप्नोति स्वराज्यं आप्नोति मनसस्पतिं वाक्पतिश्चक्षुष्पतिः श्रोत्रपतिर्विज्ञानपतिः एतत्ततो भवति आकाशशरीरं ब्रह्म सत्यात्मप्राणारामं मन आनन्दं शान्तिसमृद्धममृतम् इति प्राचीनयोग्योपास्व ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Having saluted to all the rishis, munis and Guru Parampara, all we have to understand in spirituality is learning to live life in such a way that every living will make us more and more introverted and not extroverted. After learning the art of being introverted all the time, in the next level, the life has to be put efforts to discover the innermost. So, all that which I do, which makes me extroverted, is samsara. All that which I do, which makes me introverted, is sadhana. Having done the introvertedness, then having learned the art of being introverted, then we search out the innermost truth, the innermost, the self. Then whatever that way which takes us inner side, introverted, and focuses our attention toward the innermost, all those prakriyas are called as the upasanas. By ensuring that we are involving in all these upasanas, we have to ensure in our life that our drushti is always antarmukha, not bahirmukha. Through all the upasanas, still if our drushti is bahirmukha, then either we have understood the meaning and technique of upasana, nor the purpose of the upasana, nor the practice of upasana. All the upasanas should make us introverted, not the extroverted. If extrovertedness is there, still we are continuing in the clutches of the total outer maya as well as the clutches of inner confusion, moha of the mana. Either study thoroughly Vedanta and understand intellectually the means and goal, and then live life in such a way that the delusions go away. Or do upasanas regularly in such a way, slowly the antarmukta happens, because of which the delusion about the reality of the outer world and the gains of the outer world to be real, those notions go away. Then go to the Guru, then ask him, this much I have done. O Lord, O Guru, no more Bahirmukhatha, all the Upata Durudakshaya happened. No, I am sufficiently Antarmukha through all the Upasanas. Then what now is the ultimate goal to be pursued? When we ask him, then the Guru exhaustively, systematically will tell us about first the Jiva, the individual level, then the total level, thereafter the Parabrahma, who is beyond all the manifested. He will explain to us with all logics, then he will guide us with all the sadhanas, then he will empower us so that consistent the sadhana is till the experience happens in us. We have to be very careful as to what we are doing, what we are supposed to do. Now, second one, which upasana to be done? Why so many upasanas are given? Why not one? The number of upasanas have their own sequential influence on us, taking us from the grossest to the subtlemost. And these are all which we studied in Taittiriya so far in the first six Anuvakas are the upasanas which were prevalent, practically practiced by all the gurus, all the rishis, all the munis in the Veda Kala. Same thing it is taught to the disciples at that time. Just like in today's world, which is the post Purana Kala, all of us have so many ways of upasanas by which we also are trained to become antarmukha from bahirmukha. Bahirmukhata is moham. Being extroverted is just a raw rank delusion. Understand it. Whether you understand or not, accept it. Whether you accept and practice or not, understand it. Understand, accept, practice, then you are the best one for yourself. So in the post-Purana Kala, we have the Upasanas. See, Bhagavan Adi Shankara is given, Bhagavan Vyasaji is given in all the Puranas, the, what do you call, the Panchayatana Pujas. Is it not? In that Panchayatana Puja also, there are the Shodashopachara Pujas. And those Shodashopachara Pujas done very extravagantly also. Those who cannot do, for them the Panchopacharas are given. And then, little later, the Janma of the avatar of the Lord, they are all celebrated as Upasanas. You know, the Shivaratris, the Ramanamis, Janmashthamis, they are all not there in the Veda Kala. They all have come later on. The Dasharas, the Vijayadashamis, they are all later on coming. But each of them are again, the purpose of all of that is what? The variety of upasanas. See the Pradosha upasanas, the Ekadasha upasanas, then the Skanda Shashti upasanas, all the Sankramana Sankranti upasanas, then Sankashtara Chaturthi upasanas. What are all these? Variety of them. With each of them, we try to become Shuddha, be attentive. Then Antarmukha, therefore, the Bahirmukhata is very less in our life. बहिर्मुख से अंतर्मुख बनकर अंतर्मुख से शुद्ध बनना. And the sign of Shuddhata and Antarmukhata is we have minimum things required for our life. Therefore, we have minimum involvements in the world outside. That is called the achievement through the upasanas inside as the Shuddhata of the Antakarana and Antarmukhata. Then such a personality only who have minimum goals outside, minimum things to achieve outside, alone can make the inner things as the goal. Whether it is controlling the senses, whether it is controlling the mana, whether it is purifying the mana, whether it is sharpening the intellect, whether it is removing the vasanas, which are the biggest obstacles, then only he will be able to understand the need of the dharma or the upasana or the what do you call all the type of puja ityadi. With that practice only he will make his inner qualities, inner faculties very very conducive for sadhana, which we don't have right now. Very dull-witted intellects, very thick intellects, very weak minds, extroverted minds, senses always wanting something outside. This is what is now our personality. मेरा तो है, आप तो महाज्ञानी होंगे. I have no doubt about it. After that only, the desire for, the interest for studying these Brahma Vidya giving Upanishads will be there in us seriously, sincerely. Such person alone has the capacity as well as practice of studying Upanishads, every mantra, every shabda with the Bhashya Vartika ityadi, so concentratedly, thoroughly and willingly. And such person in one lifespan only, thoroughly we can understand the Veda Vedanta and he can in fact do the sadhana. He can have even the glimpses of experiences, establishing in that maybe a question of one more life. Even that can happen in this life. So, if we consider ourselves to be the Adhyatmika sadhakas, what we have to do is variety of upasanas, either the Pauranika as we are doing and the Vaidika as we are studying now. The result of which is what? Antarmukhata badega, Bahirmukhata ghatega, Antakarana ka shuddhi bhi hoga, then the jignasa to know the truth or experience the divine presence of Saguna Sakara, they should grow in us. Then only the life will be evolved spiritually. Otherwise, if you look at our lives, though we are doing little bit of studies every day, what is happening in us, if you see, where is the contemplation and the truth happening all the time? Dekho, where is the inquiry about the unreality of the world is happening all the time? Where the mithyatva of the jiva deha bhava is happening all the time? नहीं हो रहा है. That means lot of cleansing has to be done inside. And that is what is done through all these Pauranika or Vaidika Upasanas. Pauranika Upasanas, we all know we do it also. थोड़ा थोड़ा करते हैं बट उसमें भी डिटेल्स बहुत सारे मिस्ड है. In the Prakriyas also we miss lot of details which will be studied by us from today in our evening Bhagavad Purana. Today exactly we are starting by the grace of Lord Krishna from his own mouth all the Pauranika Upasanas. How we have to do the Tantrika Tantra Upasanas in the post Pauranika Kala. What he says, Vaidiki, Tantriki, Chaiva, Upasana, Trividha, I will say in the evening, the Tantrika Upasana I will explain of the Shodashopachara Ityadi. And what he meant by the Vaidiki is, that is what we are studying here. And it also has another thing, Yajna Yaga. So there he will talk about Yajnas and the Pauranika Upasana. Then in the Vaidika Upasana only, the Upasanas as we are doing here, seeing here are beautiful, they are all having their own Vilakshanata speciality. Therefore, always we have to keep these 3 4 things in mind. One, I must experience the self and get liberated from the Jiva Deha Bhava and unreality of the world. ये goal हमेशा intact होना है. And that is done only when we see on the seat of meditation recognize that eternally present self. Therefore, what should be my second sadhana or goal? I must become meditation worthy and I must always be getting that opportunity and practice of dhyana. This will happen only when the antakarana shuddha and the theory is pakka. Theory is pakka only when we do the shravanam and mananam of the shastra. Antakarana shuddha is pakka only when we do the Vaidika, Pauranika, Upasanas continuous. Anything other than it is samsara, in which we value the things, we value the people, we value the object, we value the outer achievements, and for that we run. All of that is samsara, to be undone one day. So it is to be undone one day. Why do it today? This is how a matured seeker's life is. All the time, throughout the day, only is doing upasana for his shuddhi of the antakarana, for the shaktis of the antakarana. And having done the upasana is only studying the shastra, listening shastra to become thorough in the theory. And as he becoming thorough in the theory, he is attempting again and again on the seat of meditation to discover the hidden self. And when those attempts are continuously, constantly, relentlessly done, slowly in that quietest moment of the antakarana, the glimpses of the experience of the self start happening. The more continuously we do, the entire curtain is removed. After that, the self experience is so vivid. Then the next thing is remaining is establishing that. That's all. The mukti. Not as easy as it is discussed. But this is how a matured sadhaka's lifestyle is. Anything else, he understands it is moha, it is illusion, it is samsara, it is binding. Therefore, he just foregoes all that. He just transcends, gives up all that. We have not yet come to that level. Therefore, we need to study Shastra to become thorough with the Paramatma, and also that experiencing self alone is the cause of moksha. Then, when that mumukshata, jijnasa becomes stronger, then all these things come as a byproduct. Then his life will be very systematic, perfect. Like any profession, as we discussed it the day before, an army person, he is to protect the borders and India. Therefore, further, the physical fitness, intellectual sharpness is required. Physical fitness they get through the daily exercises. Intellectual sharpness they develop through the various exercises, practices, alertness. They are dedicated for that. Other than that, no other thing for them, especially when they are in the borders or in those areas. Of course, their duty toward the parents, family, that to hota hi hai. But other than that, in other झमेला they will not be caught up. स्पिरिचुअल साधना में एक इम्पॉर्टेंट पड़ाव है सारे झमेलाओं से बाहर आना. झमेला in Sanskrit is called as delusory involvements, illusory involvements. So every involvement where Paramatma is not there, all are illusory, delusory. whether it is the developing the finances outside, whether it is helping the world, the people outside. If they are not for the Adhyatmic sadhana, then they are all delusion. If they are for Adhyatmic sadhana, we must do them. That's what the Upasana we are studying currently in this sixth topic. But other than that, anything else is only Jhamela. That won't happen overnight to understand, but only when we are, by the grace of Guru, are attempting to know the truth on site of meditation, and when we understand that it is becoming is impossible, then when we inquire about the reasons why it's becoming impossible, then we understand it is because of so many inner obstructions. And then when we question next, where from the inner obstructions are coming, then we understand it is because of the outer delusory involvements, jhamela. At that time only we will start reducing the outer jhamela. Till that time we don't do. And other side, when we are interested in the small little pleasures of the world, not the permanent bliss of Paramatma, even till that time also we will be having the involvements in the outer jhamela. So all this put together is the maturity. Nothing should be missed. That's why spiritual understanding, spiritual sadhana, spiritual experience and establishment takes so many lives of conscious sadhana. If you don't do sadhana at all, there is no question of liberation even in million lives. While doing sadhana consciously itself, it takes so much of time because the independent impediments are so many. The obstructions are so many, the hurdles are so many. All of them you have to cross. And each one will have different hurdles for himself, each sadhaka. Then they'll have to discover them and slowly they have to come out of them. And all is done by one thing called as I must somehow or the other, or anyhow or everyhow, I must be the spiritual seeker reaching the heights in the spirituality. ये वाला अगर दृढ़ हो गया तो then बाकी सब follow करते. Like you want to become doctor, then all the things follow. You want to become Karudapati, all the things to achieve Karudapati, just they follow. In the same way, I have to grow in my spiritual experience. If this thought is made very stronger by repeatedly repeating, accordingly, all the sadhanas will be understood, will be practiced, all of them will fall in a right place. That's how it is happens. It happens. Now, therefore, what is the conclusion in the introduction today? Variety of the upasanas, one after the other, we have to keep on doing to check ourselves that we are reducing our extrovertedness, we are becoming introverted. Not only we are becoming introverted, we are also become purified in our antakarana. What is the purification of antakarana? Nothing of the outer is sought as goal. Then the third one is what? Are we becoming thorough in the Siddhanta theoretical jnana? Then how far we are able to attempt for dhyanam and in the dhyanam becoming subtler and subtler. Okay. So the upasanas are maybe for 6 months you can do only one upasana of Shanno Mitra. Maybe 2-3 months essential upasana of we can do Shiksham Vyakyasyama. That itself is upasana because it is given in this Upanishad. Then maybe a year or so we must be doing the Samhita Upasana. Samhitaya Upanishada Vyakyasyama. It's a beautiful. All the details are already given. Then we can do the Upasana Pranava through Ucharanam as well as Prarthana for the Medha, which is exactly a central portion. What we have done in the first 3 Upasanas, by which little introvertedness purity gained, it should not be lost. As well as the future goal also should be all the time remembered. Both of them is possible when we have the Medha or Prajna. Therefore, Medha Kamanartham, that mantra came exactly in the center. Yaschandasam Rushavaha. So to totally we have to be freed from all runa and obligations and the inner prarabdhas. How do you do that? The upata durtaksha is done by performing all the yajna karma. Therefore, in the same fourth anuvaka, we have seen praying to the Omkara Lord to give all the riches. So everything is systematic. With all the wealth, I have cleared up all my runa, everything. Yagna se upata durtaksha kardi. Or by asking prajna, medha, I always have remembered my goal now. Such personality alone can be given the Antara Upasanas of Vyahriti, which are little sublime, subtler. So, Bhurva, Swartiva, Yata, Stisro, Vyaruta, Yatasa, all that we have seen exhaustively in last few days. Now, in this way, the one who does this Vyaharti Upasana in the fifth Anuvaka alone will be given the chance to do the Aham Graha Upasana as said in the sixth Anuvaka to focus the attention on the Aham 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 which is there is in the Hridaya Akasha. And this also we have studied clearly to the extent we could do. And when we try to practice, that time I think by Guru Kripa, Ishvara Kripa, the clarity becomes more and more. To put it in layman's language, reach to the physical heart, from there go to the spiritual heart, in that find the space, in the space find the individuality, find that individuality to be Manomaya, that Manomaya individuality is called Purusha. Purusha has two meanings of Purushaya and Purnatva. Purushayanata because of its Tadatma with the three upadhis, Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya. Purnata is when it transcends all the upadhis at the individual and total level. And he can transcend all upadhis and become Amrutaha Hiranyamayaha. For that, what he has to do is, in the life while living only, he'll have to use his three upadhis to serve the total, not the individual. And when we do like that, along with which we also consciously through Yoga Marga lift our identity from the Hridaya Akasha slowly to Murdha, and from there when we jump. So inside this sadhana is happening, outside these identifying the totality is happening because we are using all individual faculties to serve the total. When both of them come to a parakashta level, ejecting out of this Shirshakapale Vyapohya, and because these life is filled only with serving the totality, when he ejects out of, then he will get identified with, or is blessed to identify with the totality of every of the Vyahrutis. That is why you can see very few, not many people, many of them are not known to us, few of them you can know. He is in the highest position in the world outside. Yet he is not doing anything for himself. And also he is doing regularly his own spiritual sadhana also. In every of the field, among lakhs and lakhs of people, one or two are definitely there. So their individuality is only for the total, whether it is Annamaya, the Pranamaya and Manomaya. Nothing of his own for himself. When they are living like that and pursuing whatever sadhana gurus told, उसमें भी अगर उपनिषद के द्वारा हृदय आकाश पुरुष को पहचान कर, if they bring out that purusha of this cranium consciously through yoga marga, such people will be lifted or given the promotion to get identified with the Brahma, the Mahat of each of these upadhis or each of these vyavrutis. And all those Mahat of each of the vyavruti will have the Brahma behind them as substratum. And that Brahma is not Bara Brahma, he is the Hiranyagarbha. So the Drushti is from the Hiranyagarbha sthiti. I may be living any of the upadhis, yet my Drushti understanding is from total. As you said, no? We live in one room of the house, but our Drushti is in the protection of the entire house. We may sit in one seat of the car, but our Drushti is in the entire car. If you are a pilot, you may be sitting in your rover, whatever call that place. But still, your Drushti is on the entire flight, its wings which are spread so wide. In the same way, the Drushti becomes the cosmic Drushti. That is what is taught here as the Phala SHRUTHI when it is done, where we saw till yesterday. Now, having seen that, now when you continue here, what is said, Vyapohya Shirshaka Pale, वहीं से शुरू करते हैं. भूरित्यग्नौ प्रतितिष्ठति भुवरिति वायौ सुवरित्यादित्ये मह इति ब्रह्मणि आप्नोति स्वराज्यौ आप्नोति मनसस्पतिं वाक्पतिश्चक्षुष्पतिः श्रोत्रपतिर्विज्ञानपतिः एतत्ततो भवति आकाशशरीरं ब्रह्म सत्यात्मप्राणारामं मन आनन्दं शान्तिसमृद्धममृतम् इति प्राचीनयोग्योपास्व. These are all the 10, 12 phala accrue to the person who is doing this Hridaya Akasha Sthita Purusha Upasana as it is said. This Purusha Upasana has got, please remember, the three parts. Be clear about it. The first part of that Purusha is what? He is using his individual faculties to serve total, so that his desire to enjoy the world through these three Annapranamana, which are only delusory, illusory, they are reduced, which is very first. Otherwise, with the three upadhis of Annapranamana, living the life of emotions and indulgences and eatings, that is Pakka Samsara, which we are already doing. So the first thing we have to do as Upasana is of involving for some lives in serving the total. Second portion that is taught here is focusing our attention, recognizing the Purusha in our Hridaya Akasha with all these three Lakshanas. These four Lakshanas. Purushaha, Manomayaha, Amrutaha, Hiranyamaya. And the third part is this Aham, I, which whom I discovered in the heart. Discovered na? Now slowly lifting him consciously through the Agnya Chakra or Vishuddha and Agnya ko bypass karte हुए Vishuddha or Agnya and through Sahasrara, lifting my attention out of it. Just like I sit in the sofa, I lift myself and sit in the chair, I lift myself, sit in the palang, and I lift myself and go and sit in a car. Physically, am I not doing it? Am I doing? In the same way, the aham in me can be consciously shifted, lifted from this individual upadhi in this Ida Pingada Sushumna Paddhati or Chakra Bhedavana Paddhati, and one can consciously eject out of the deha. The prakriya, which is there in Yoga Marga Prasiddha, is given in the Upanishad. Therefore, Bhagavan Bhashyakara also commented that. If it is done, it is ensured. Even if it is not consciously that way done, but if the life is lived as long as alive, with the service to the world with the faculties given, and the second one our trying to trace the aham in the hridaya. If these two are done, then also when one leaves the body, he will be getting all the phala shrutis that are said here in the same manner. But यहाँ जो बताया वो है, these are the three stages we have to do. Be about conscious. By identifying with the three upadhis, I am living a wretched life of jiva, where ragadesha, kama, krodha, kamya karma, papa karma, and phala of sukha, dukkha, naraka, swarga, janma, marana are happening. These are all the lot of samsari. The sadhaka's lakshya is becoming one with Paramatma. So to experience that one, I have to do the sadhanas of upasanas. The first four vyavritis or five vyavritis gave different upasanas. I have done it for many lives. Now in the sixth vyavriti upasana I am doing. In that, first merge the individual into the total through service. Second is recognizing that jiva has these three. Then lift that jiva out of this individual and see to it that he merged in total. In that, first one is Bhuhi ti Agnau Pratitishthati, means Agni Atmana Agni Atmana Imam Lokam Vyapnoti Tyartaha. So, before this sadhana is done, I as a jiva was finding my permeability only to this body. From the toe up to the head tip, totally permeated I am here in this. This is how you and I all experience ours. Beyond our deha, even 1 millimeter also, I am not there. That is the strongest deha tadatmya we developed from millions of lives. Now, the one who does the upasana said in the sixth Anuvaka, when he ejects out of the deha, he will become what? Agni Atmana, having himself be attentive. identified with the Agni Tattva, Agni is the one which is permeating the entire Stula Jagat. Therefore, he will experience his permeability to the entire Jagat. Right now, I am permeating entire my Deha. Anywhere I am touched, I know I am touched. Is it not? Myself also and anybody also. I am aware of it. But beyond the Deha, हम है ही नहीं उसमें. But with this upasana, when we get the Agni Tattva Tadatmyam, Agni being all pervading, with Agni Atmana, Imam Lokam Vyapnoti Ityartha. He will be permeating the entire loka. Then the higher things, as we said yesterday, he may will be blessed with some siddhis with which not only this particular deha, but every deha's problems, whatever they may be of the diseases, etc. He may even have the siddhis either to reduce their effect or even remove all those deha, roga, etc. अग्नि के रूप में उनको ये सब शक्तियां होते हैं बट करते हैं कि नहीं करते हैं it is not his choice, it is Ishvara's choice. He will consult the Ishvara, then only he will do. As we said yesterday, if you remember, he will ask the Ishvara. Ishvara says, don't do that, let him go through that pain, then only you will get Vairagya, then only you will stop doing all papam. He is troubling everybody, therefore let him go through. Then that Guru will not bless that person to be healthy physically. You will say, you will suffer, but you will not say outside, you will feel inside. You will suffer, but develop the Vairagya. कुछ कुछ लोग जो साधक होते हैं who are established in the path, when about them he asked भगवान क्या करें भगवान ये लोग भी बीमारी से दुखी हो रहे साधना नहीं कर पा रहे what should I do? Okay, this case is different. Now use your this siddhi and remove that person's sharira samasya so that he can serve the world, he can grow spiritually. These are all very higher level में होते हैं, पक्का होते हैं. That is why when those yogis, siddha purushas, people go with this. किसी किसी लोगों का क्योर होते हैं, किसी का नहीं होते. It is not the asamarthata of that siddha purusha or yogi. It is this person's deservability or non-deservability. Like it is physical doctor also. Some are getting cured, some are dying only. It's not the asamarthata of the doctor. The patient's body is not able to respond to medicine. अब उनका गलती थोड़ी हो. Some doctors may be responsible, they also may be cause of death. It's okay, that's a different issue. So, Bhuriti Agnau Pratitishthati, when it is said, understand that entire gross world is made out of or coming from its a subtle cause called as Agni Tattva. And the one who does Upasana in this way of the using the Stula Deha in service of the totality by which the individual Deha Tadatma is transcended, he will be identifying with the Agni Tattva and can feel his presence in and through every of the Stula Deha of the world. Entire Bhumi he is permeated. Every Jantu he is permeates. Everything whichever has got Deha, he will have his identity in all of them. If he wants, he can feel the pain of every Deha. If he doesn't want, he can withdraw. Because Agni is the one which is permeating the entire Deha. Therefore, it can come to the gross level and feel the pain. And he can be in the subtle level, remain as the cause only. That is there in him. Agnyatmana bhu iti sarvam vyapnoti. Ivam lokam vyapnoti tyartaha. He permeates the entire world as an Agni Tattva. And Agni Tattva's presence is in the Deha as support of, in the Rupa Nama, let us say. सारे रूप नाम में अपना वो व्यक्ति अस्तित्व को पता अनुभव करते हैं. It's not the moksha. Is only identifying the Agni Tattva because it is permeating everywhere. He sees himself as Agni everywhere permeated. That much. Now the second one, Tatha Bhuva iti Dvitiya Vyahruta Atmani Vayau Pratitishthati. It is subtler than the Agni is the Vayu Tattva. When while being in the body, as we said, when his attention is in serving, everybody bhuka in this world does. He has transcended his own person bhuka, then he will be identified when he goes out of Deha through cranium with the total Vayu, Pranamaya Kosha. Total Vayu gets identified. And then he also will have everybody's hunger as his hunger. and anybody's hunger he can remove by various siddhis techniques. Again, subject to conditions. Conditions apply. It's a great thing, and such yogis are very much required. Every time in today's modern world of all the technological developments and in so many ways the progress, still you believe or not, every day in the whole world now 80 crores of people are sleeping without the dinner in the evening. 80 करोड़ लोग अभी भूमंडल में एक ही मील खाना खा पा रहे हैं, दूसरा मील नहीं मिल रहा उनको. ये आंकड़ा सत्य है. 750 करोड़ों में 80 crores lack of money, not eating food at night. You can think about it. Then if some Mahatmas, yogis are of this level, then invoke the Bhumata and all, then get all the food required and supply. Now that भूखे लोग अलग अलग वजह से हैं, पैसे भी नहीं इसलिए, गवर्नमेंटल मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग्स है, उनके खुद का भी मूर्खता है. ऑल दैट इज सेड एंड डन. दिस इज हाउ इट इज. पीपल आर hungrily sleeping, so many. So bho iti vayau pratitishthati. See, imagine that then. He becomes one with the Vayu Tattva, and Vayu only enters and becomes prana in all the deha. So he can enter into any deha's prana, any body as a prana, then he can in fact regulate all the activities that are done through the prana. The yogis, they do it. The too much hungry people, some of them are there. When you go to that Siddha Purusha, he will adjust that inner problem because he is identified the total prana tattva. So he does that. Why tattva say? So to somebody has no hunger only he will do. Somebody has no digestion, somebody has over digestion. जो भी प्राणों के फिजियोलॉजिकल फंक्शंस हैं वो सब वो नियंत्रण कर सकते हैं. He will see, he has a siddha shakti, such a yogi, when a tiger is chasing the deer. Suddenly he'll enter the tiger and see that its hunger is stopped. Suddenly the tiger stops chasing the deer. Deer is freed. These type of siddhis they will have. Bhuvariti vayau pratitishthati. Okay. Because he is identified the vayu, the total prana, everywhere, he will have not any individual suffering of hunger and thirst. Beyond hunger thirst, like this is what said by Nachiketa in the Katha Upanishad, Sarge loke na bhayam kinchanaste na tatratvam na jaraya vibheti ubhe tirtvasanaya pipase shokatigo modate sarga loke. What is said there alone is said here in a different language because it's a different Upanishad. Shrutha is different, Vakta is different, Samaya and Sandarbha are different. But the point is same, different ways said. Give me that Vidya by which I transcend the diseases of all these three koshas. Swarge loke na bhayam na kinchana asti. There is no fear. Why? Na tatra tvam. There is no due the death. Straight away Yamaraj ke mukh mein bol rahe hain, तुम मां नहीं होते हो. He must be feeling very embarrassed there. Then na tatra tvam na jaraya vibheti. So jara mrityu are not there. Means Annamaya kosha transcend. Sorry, Annamaya kosha transcended. Then na tatra tvam na jaraya vibheti. Ubhe tirtva asanaya pipase. Asana pipasa both are transcended. Means pranamaya is transcended. Then Shokatigaha Modate Swargaloke, he is transcending the Shoka Moha also. That means the Manomaya Kosha also is transcended. So this individual Anna Prana Manomaya Kosha transcendence, by using this in the service of the total Anna Prana Mana, makes one transcend these three koshas, and such one is said to be in the fearless Ananda called as the Swarga. Wonderful. Here it is the fourth one. We have done the second one. Bhuriti Agnau, Bhuvariti Vayau. Then the third, fourth are there. In the fourth, what is asked by Nachiketa is the fourth sthiti, in which he is identifying with the Hiranyagarbha sthiti, because of which he himself has none of the samasya of the upadhi, and he will be capable of serving any of the jiva who have problems at these three upadhi level. Beautiful. So, Bhurityagno Pratitishthati, imagine being an Agni, identifying with Agni, he will permeate all the rupas. So, to Bhavariti Vayav Pratitishthati means what? Bhuva iti Ditiya Vyavruti Atmani Vayav Pratitishthati iti Anuvartate. So, identifying with the Vayu, he will again permeate the entire the Loka, wherever the Vayu is there, he knows it is he only. And as we said now, the Vayu become Prana and Prana has the hunger and thirst inside. He will be able to regulate, control all that. Again, conditions apply. He may have the capacity, but he may or may not use, like Puja Gurudev. He has got great siddhis and capacities. Doesn't mean that it will be used. Wherever very rarely required, it is used. Only for spiritual seekers, the Vedantic masters bless them with all these clearance of the prarabdhas or etc. Not for a worldly person. इसलिए हम कह रहे हैं परमात्मा पाने का श्रद्धा, शास्त्र पढ़कर समझने का श्रद्धा, साधना का श्रद्धा, फिर गुरु उपासना गुरु श्रद्धा. If they are there, then those gurus will bless us with their tapashakti. Some gurus, while blessing, may mold us even to become spiritual, even if we were Nastika. But such things just very rarely they happen, and the happening also very slowly. Like you went to a Siddha Purusha with some roga. He will remove the roga and induce the spiritual bija in you, but that will be fructified only after 5 lives, because 5 life ka prarabdha बहुत strongly hai. Like that. So many ways it happens. Like in the world also, everything happens in million ways. In spiritual evolution also, the possibilities are so many. But none of them are crossing each other or contradictory or vague. Everything is very perfect and systematic. Now, third one is Bhurityagno Pratitishthati Bhavariti Vayav Suvariti Aditye. The one who is doing the Upasana on the Suva Vyahruti, in which is individual manomaya, he is using in the service of the total mano, everybody else. Means understanding their emotions, understanding their ideas, feeling for them, and seeing to that they are given the proper comforts through the positive emotions of kindness and compassion. Such person, when he is using his personal emotion in serving the total mind, he, when he leaves the body, through this Vyapohya Shirsha Kapale, he will be identifying with Aditya. Suvariti Aditya. He will be given the identity with the Aditya Paramatma, and as an Aditya Paramatma, he will be again permeating the entire world. So Aditya here is, धियो यो नः प्रचोदयात, मन बुद्धि आप दोनों को इकट्ठा ले लो, तो he will be able to permeate the entire psychological world. Earlier was entire the pranic vayu world. Before that was as an Agni, the grass world. Agni, the grass world. Then he will have the control on entire dravya. Then he will be as a vayu permeating everywhere. Then he will have the control on all the kriyas, because vayu's power work in every body is, after becoming the prana shakti, it does variety of the kriyas. The physiological kriyas also, the psychological, the prana, इंद्रियों का कर्म सारे करने के लिए जो शक्तियां होते हैं, वो प्राण शक्तियां हैं, वो वायु से आते हैं. So he'll be able to control, regulate all the kriya in the world with being one with the vayu. Now, with the manatadatmya or the aditya tadatmya, he'll be able to control all the knowledges and emotions of the entire world. So, to anyone, when he feels like, he can induce the knowledge. Like if that way we are devotee of Puja Gurudev, surrender to him with his grace, the most toughest of the Vedantic topics also can become easily understandable. He'll have that power to bless us, but we should also deserve. If the knowledge is given, but that knowledge we use as a professor only to get name and fame and money in the world, but not Paramatma, then his tapashakti is wasted, because this is not the purpose. Therefore, they know it. Therefore, they don't give. They only wait for that opportunity in which they find us, we have become purified through other upasanas. So too, they will read every mind, they know every emotion of everybody, and at the emotional level also, they will rectify. If some bad sentimental emotions or extreme attachments are there, those Siddha Purushas can remove them. And if somebody is very arrogant, ruthless, non-sensitive, they will induce the required sensitivity in them, because of which कल तक किसी को प्यार भी नहीं करने वाला, आज से धीरे धीरे he will mind the family members, he will have emotion for the friends, he will just talk lovingly to the people in the office. सडनली कैसा हुआ ये बदलाव? कोई ऋषि मुनि को प्रार्थना किया, जिन्होंने आदित्य से तादात्म्य किए, therefore he just did संकल्प, इसका इमोशनल माइंड थोड़ा टिकाने पे आया. Therefore, what we have to understand with all this Falashruti, living life only in the one upad level is not only not great, but it's the worst way. Is it not? You have a beautiful palatial house, but remaining in a 8 to 10 wala jhopadpatti with all the waters leaking and mud plastering inside and around the slum area hai. How it looks like with all the possibility of living in a huge palatial house. Still choosing to live here. Laughable hai ki nahi? In the same way, ourselves possible to live at the total subtle level have given up that and are living at the individual grossest level. We are living only in slum area. ये को समझना है. And this also neither we understand nor we try to come out because our moha vyamoha are so much to the so many of the urvashis in the world. In that really high level of variety of attachments, attractions, infatuations, we are there just because of two reasons. One, the extreme strong vasanas. Second is extreme murkhata. That is why bhaja govindam, govindam bhaja, otherwise modamate. We should know first this is our diseases of extreme worldliness because of extreme vasanas and delusion. We have to come out of that. Then only we'll be able to understand what a lowest wretched life we are living. As a human being, identified only with these three. और कुछ लोग तो मन को तो छोड़ ही दिए, प्राण को भी छोड़ ही दिए, केवल अन्नमय के लेवल देहोस्मि 24 घंटा उनका जीवन ओनली अन्नमय, नील पॉइंट ओनली दिस. All the 24 hours you can see them in front of the mirror, है ना, ड्रेसिंग, गहना पहनना, कॉस्मेटिक्स लगाना, नेल पॉलिश करना, लिपस्टिक लगाना, even women. Men looking at their own wig, looking at all the wrinkles, uncles. This is called extreme देहदादा. कुछ लोग भूख प्यास दिन भर, whatever happened to the deha, let it get destroyed, but they are busy in eating, drinking. Their jiva is caught up at that level. So you should now look at the world and ourselves from the Upanishadic spiritual understanding standpoint in a different way. When somebody is too much eating, drinking, you must know he is caught up in the Annamaya, Pranamaya level. Somebody is very emotional, sentimental. That means he is caught up at the mind. कुछ लोग तीनों में फंसे रहते हैं. So सुबह अन्नमय, दोपहर प्राणमय, शाम को मनोमय. और किसी के बारे में क्यों, अपने बारे में कह रहे. Is it at night 10 o'clock to morning 6? We are fully तादमय with अन्नमय. सो जाओ. Then दिन भर खाते रहना, पीते रहना, वे प्राणमय. इन बिटवीन जो भी हमें खाने के लिए, भोजन के लिए हेल्प मिलता है, उनके तरफ मनोमय. The beggings, the slaveries, the attachments, jaye, ghore, tishte, all this is manomaya problem. See, Bhurityagno Pratitishthati, what a darja, what a dignity of that one who will be as an Agni all permeating, infinite, who is as a Vayu all permeating. Sthula Deha and its problem, zerofied. Pranamaya Kosha and its problem, Angarthas, zero. Because as a Vayu, the Shakti is inherent in that. The Shakti in the Vayu only is put it in the anna ityadi, which when we consume, we get the energy. Okay. Annamaya kosha is deha. Remember, anna we are talking about the food, which is the consumed thing because of the hunger of the pranamaya kosha. जो भूख लगती है हम खाना खाते हैं तो एनर्जी होता है. भूख लगना मतलब लैक ऑफ एनर्जी. They're all the systems made by the Lord inside. They're all the bells. The thing called as hunger is the call that some food has to be given for the body because all the parameters are going down, they become non-functional. So at this level of our gross identification, for us the food is available only through, sorry, energy is available only through the gross bhojana. But the one through yoga shakti, when he identified the pranamaya kosha or the prana tattva, उनको ग्रॉस से जरूरत नहीं है. दे विल टेक डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द वायु. ऐसा हवा ले लेते हैं तो पूरा एनर्जी आ जाता है. इवन नाउ आल्सो व्हेन यू इनहेल एंड एक्सहेल यू कैन फील दैट स्पेशल एनर्जी कमिंग. And lot of pranayama, those who do, they will have extreme hunger in the beginning. But when they consistently do and discover identity with the prana shakti, their hunger and demand and requirement of the food quota gets so drastically reduced. 3 दिन में एक बार थोड़ा सा खाया या 2 दिन में, कोई को लोग तो हफ्ते में एक बार खाया, बस बाकी क्या जरूरत. चल रहा है सब गाड़ी. एंड साधक योगी लोग ऐसे होना चाहिए. स्टेट वन प्लेस, reduce intake of food, remain dependent on the prana shakti, and then use all that lifetime span for the sadhana. Anyway, so bhovariti vayau svarityadityam iki swariti tritiya vyahruti atmani aditye. So why is the third vyahruti? When that third vyahruti, when we have done the upasana, that is using our mana in the service of total mana, we get identified with the total mana called as aditya. Mana is aditya is mana buddhi dono, intellection and emotion. So भगवान आदित्य के साथ तादात्म्य करते हैं. हो गया. नो व्हाट अबाउट द फोर्थ महा उपासना? महा वाला जिन्होंने अहम के ऊपर किया है, अन्न प्राण मन बुद्धि के अलावा अहम के ऊपर, मीन्स इन ऑफ living life only at the arrogant ego level of his own, the one who has respected, valued every individual's positions. Everybody's knowledge and emotion is at the mana buddhi level. Everybody's hunger and thirst is at prana level. Everybody's physical health, safety, security is at the annamaya level. Now we are talking about every individual's level. Every individual is equally sacred. In this way, who has done the respecting of every individual. Till now, we respect only our ego at the cost of even big gurus, mahatmas. सब कुछ नहीं हमारे साथ, हम ही सबसे महान. That arrogance inside. Therefore, they don't go to any mahatma. Even they go, ऐसे देखते हैं. What did that mahatma study? He passed 10th out. Oh, that's all. मैं तो PhD किया हूँ. पागल होना दीवाना. I am greater than him. That ego generally we have with all our achievements. But here in the Upasana, when every ego is respected, even an ego of the mosquito, it has its own individuality. It is surviving. That jiva is in that yoni. Therefore, you slowly tell him to go out or do something by which they don't come inside. In this way, a dog, it has its own individuality. Usko respect. Tree has its own individuality. It will not just pluck the tree like that or the leaves. So to every human being, irrespective of caste, creed, religion, gender, anything, सबको अपना अपना व्यक्तित्व है. So such person, when he goes to an office, if he finds a clerk, anybody, उनको भी हरिओम नमस्कार जो भी करना है करके, due respect he gives, protects that person's individuality. Beautiful that joy, and that is a test whether we are egoistic very strongly or we are doing this Maha Upasana. Some people we respect because of some reasons. But here, respecting everyone for only one reason, that every individual is sacred. Beautiful. Like yesterday when I went to that hospital for this booster dose, all those Mata log were there, working, doing that. Some nice all snacks I gave and did really namaskar to them and all. They were very happy. We can see in their eyes, अच्छा हमको भी कोई नमस्कार करते हैं क्या? They were looking like that. Other they go recklessly, carelessly, get injured. Very namaskar, I appreciated such a good work you are doing. Please take care of yourself also, your health. And then whatever. They're good. There's no interaction, all that, no need. But you can see in their eyes. And while seeing in their eyes, we have to see in ourselves. Okay, did we respect that chair, that person's identity as whatever doctor, nurse or injection giver? हमको क्या नुकसान है उसमें? कुछ नहीं है, फायदा ही फायदा है. Whenever we go, the bus driver, conductor से लेकर, the shopkeeper से लेकर, anywhere we go, we have to respect them. You know, your own car driver, इतने साल safely he has taken across you to so many places. हम तो बफेलो की तरह बैठते हैं पीछे. इतना मुश्किल है कार ड्राइव करना. जोर से पैसे दे रहा हूँ, उससे डबल पैसे आपको देंगे. आप चला के दिखाओ सेफली एक दिन. Everyone, including the barber, they have their own great work, ego, individuality. कोई भी नहीं है जो घर में आके सेवा करने वाले सेवादार इतना बढ़िया है. भगवान ही इज वर्किंग इन सो मेनी वेज. The one who does in this way the upasana, he will become Aditya. Once he breaks open the cranium, Vyapohya Shirsha Kapala, and he goes there, Aditya. Then, as an Aditya, his thinking always will be for the universal goodness, and his emotions are always for the universal happiness. सब खुश रहे, सब प्रगति को पावे. In that way, his ideas will be. In that way, his plannings will be. And such people of identification with the Agni Vayu as well as Aditya, their plannings, their works, their executions are not for any individual at the individual level. Their thinkings, works will be at the universal level, at the cosmic level, at the total level. उनके बोलचाल भी ऐसा ही होता है, उनका प्लानिंग भी ऐसे, उनके काम भी ऐसा ही होता है. And you and I only at individual level, that also me, मैं. We live wife or children or anybody, also again for one's own sake. Such a strong ego we are. We don't know that, but it is so. पत्नी को पत्नी के कारण प्रेम नहीं करते हैं. You she gives a good food and all that, therefore नहीं तो डांटेगी पीटेगी. Out of something for selfishness only we do. But these Mahatmas who have done this Upasana and identify with these Maha of each of these three things, they will be always at the universal level. Such ones, give lectures, write books, give plannings, which are unbiasedly, universally applicable. And in those categories are all these great scientists, etc. When they discover medicine, it is applicable for all patients in the universe. They may not know it that they are doing that upasana, but what they are doing is that upasana. At that time, they are identified with the Agni Tattva. ऐसा थोड़ी करते हैं कोई साइंटिस्ट एक मेडिसिन डिस्कवर करके अपने फैमिली और अपने ससुराल के फैमिली बस इनको दिया है. ऐसा नहीं होता. Let's listen from them. We are discovering this medicine for the patients of all the globe. That is called as Agni Tattva Tadatmya. Or we are producing this food which can be supplied everywhere, therefore everybody's hunger is removed. They are with the total Mano Pranamaya Kosha. Then we are discovering all these ideas, ideologies, entertainments, etc. Everybody's mana is Ananda Yukta. That is, they are identified with the Aditya. जैसे आदित्य भगवान को कोई biasness नहीं होता. He gives his light to everyone. So too the Agni Tattva is unbiasedness. Anybody goes and touches it, शीतम भयम तमोप्येति, we saw in Bhagavatam. So too वायुदेव ऐसे कोई reservation रखते हैं क्या कि I will go into the nose of only this rich person, not the poor person. उनको होता ही नहीं है. They are only sticking to their own duty of the substantiating or supporting the faculties of all. This person who with this upasana has reached to the identification of the Atma of all the Vyarutis, he will work for the total. Conversely, the one who works in that way for the total, he will be promoted to that level naturally where he talks or things and works for the total. कन्वर्सली हम अपने इंडिविजुअल के लिए करते रहे तो हम इंडिविजुअली रहते ही रहते हैं, एंड वी ऑलवेज बी स्टैंडिंग इन ए क्यू वेटिंग फॉर आवर टर्न फॉर आवर ओन सेल्फिशनेस. An example of a patient going for his own disease cure and the doctor sitting there to cure 100 patients. An example. See, he is identified with so many dehas and serving so many deha. He is in the Agni Tattva level at that time. Example के लिए हम बता. And imagine a doctor attending 100 patients per day like that. 35 years he served. 150. कितने लाखों लाखों लोगों को उन्होंने किया होगा. He has done upasana in so many lives that he is given that position. And if he misuses that for his own purpose, selfishness, then his growth gets stagnant there. But to him, if a guru says or he asks a guru and he is given the spiritual ideas, then doing all that seva, he does it not for any worldly goal, but for the spiritual evolution, then he will be promoted to the higher worlds. इस तरह होता है दुनिया में. ओके, सुवरिति तृतीय व्याहृति आत्मनि आदित्ये. नाउ फोर्थ वन इज महः इति अंगिनी चतुर्थ व्याहृत आत्मनि ब्रह्मणि प्रतिष्ठति. महः इति, if he is doing the upasana of the maha, which is an angi for bhurvasva. See na, bhurvasva anga vyahrate upasana karo to agni vayu aditya. No, maha is the angi. Of that, if we do the upasana, mahiti angini chaturthi vyahrata atmani brahmani pratitishthati. If they are doing the upasana of the mahavyahrati, fourth, they will also be established in the angi, not the anga, that is Brahma. Once is identified with the Brahma, all the anga is in control only. Here the angi, the Brahma is the Mahat Brahma, the Hiranyagarbha. So as we said now, he will be having the idea of seeing to it that every individual ego or jiva is evolved to express all his potential to become universal. And they are the Adhyatmika Gurus. Adhyatmika Guru's attention is not to boost or boast our intellects or emotions or the bellies or the bodies. Their attention, like Gurudev, his idea of all the work in samstha is not for our Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, even Vijnanamaya. It is only for the Aham, the Jiva in each of us, to get unfolded to recognize our divinity. That is the only purpose. And for that, what is required? The intellectual knowledge. So that is done through all the Jnana Yajnas. The Jnana Yajna mein tabhi aoge aap when the love is given. Therefore, at the mana level, he gave love. And sometimes you will have the mana buddhi to come and listen. When your stomach is filled up, therefore कोई खाना भी किया जाता है. और ये सब करने के लिए एक जगह रहनी है. Therefore, a place also is given. You know, the place given, Annamaya Kosha. So, prana, bhojanam given, pranamaya kosha. Love is given, manomaya attended. And then intellectual knowledge is given is vijnanamaya service. All of that is for what? For discovering our essential self. So they are with the Brahma, they are the Hiranyagarbha. Those who are at the Aditya level, they cater to the Mana Buddhi. Those who are at the Vayu level, they cater to the Annamaya, that Bhojanam ityadi, hunger, thirst. Those who are at the Agni level, they are considered health, jara, roga, mrityu, ityadi. You can see the people in this world. सब काम रोग दूर करेंगे, सब काम भूख दूर करेंगे, सबको हम खुश करेंगे. Each one thinks that way. You can imagine that they are at that Vyahriti level. Pratama, Dvitiya, Tritiya Vyahriti Seva is equal to the identification with the Atma of these three Vyahritis. Bhu Vyahruti Atma is Agni, Bhuva Vyahruti Atma is Vayu, Suva Vyahruti Atma is Aditya, Maha Vyahruti Atma is Brahma. See that. And you and I also are serving our children, grandchildren. किस लिए कर रहे हैं हम? At the level of mana we do up to maximum. बुद्धि लेवल तक अभी हम कमी आए हैं. खुद तो नहीं करते बुद्धि के लिए. We send them to college and school, but that knowledge of worldliness we don't call as knowledge. First, from spiritual standpoint. So you are like Agni for your children and grandchildren because you see to it that they are healthy. You are a Vayu for them because timely khana आप दे रहे हो उनको. You are the Aditya because you love them emotionally. Is it not? Intellectual level में I don't know whether you are giving them the intellection is only one. That understanding by which we evolve only, not devolve. If we come to live the life at the intellectual level, our life will be full of dharma, righteousness, full of values, all the noble values. Our character is always of the high standard, and the goal is not the world but Bhagavan. That is a correct growth of intellect. That intellect which has grown only to cater to the Annamaya, Pranamana, Manomaya, it is not a correct growth of the intellect. Because intellect's purpose is to discover the higher amplitude, higher, greater achievements. Na? So, are we catering to that? Fourthly, the Maha. And we may cater to the Aham of the children, but not for spiritual unfoldment. We just cater to their Aham of some professional achiever in the world. Then you tell all your people in your kitty party club, see, my grandchild has become such a great pilot, or this and that. So your contribution also is there for that child to become pilot. You loved him, you gave money, you got him educated. जो भी किया होगा. I'm just giving an ideas how to understand the meaning of these words that he gets Pratitishtati in Agni Vayu and Aditya as well as Brahma. भूरित्यग्नौ प्रतिष्ठति भुवरिति वायौ स्वरित्यादित्ये महिति ब्रह्मणि. Imagine that life where I am no more cocooned in one panchakoshas and suffering all the limitations. Third class zindagi. Dam gutkar. बढ़िया जिंदगी है. Like in the plane, you are tied to your own seat. हिलना नहीं, बगल में इतना मोटू आदमी है, he'll pito you only. Tied down. But see that air hostess, because they cater to the needs of all passengers, they have full freedom. आगे पीछे कहीं भी जा सकते. They are identifying with the total that way. That is an example at that level. They are not tied to a kursi. वो लोग आगे पीछे, they can go to the cockpit में जो भी यहाँ पायलट रहते हैं, they can go there. Try slowly. We have to understand the possibility of living at the higher level. Then we must also get convinced about the need of evolving that way. Then only when we start thinking as to how to reach to that, तब पता चलेगा कितना हम अन्न प्राण मन में सड़े हुए हैं, फंसे हुए हैं. At the vasana level, at the habit level, at the lowest level of life we are living, then we will know. After that only we can evolve it. उसमें भी फिर दो लेवल्स होते हैं. पहले मेकिंग अवर अन्नमय प्राणमय लाइटर मनोमय by taking care here. Thereafter, with these lighter things, serve the world. While serving the world, do your own antarahridaya akasha aham graha upasana. Then either consciously or by the grace of Lord also, when we go out of the cranium, then we will see that we are identifying with the Atma of all these upadhis, all these vyahrutis. Clear? Mahaiti Brahmani, up to this we have seen. Mahaiti Angini Chaturtha Vyahruta Atmani Brahmani Pratitishthati. Means what? Teshu Atma Bhavena Sthitva Apnoti Brahma Bhutaha Swarajyam Swarad Bhavam Swayam Eva Raja Adipati Bhavati Angabhutanam Devatanam Yatha Brahma. So after that, Mahaiti Brahmani Apnoti Swarajyam is the next one. This we will touch today, but elaborately explain tomorrow. So Apnoti Swarajyam is next one. Means what? Teshu Atma Bhavena Sthitva, living as the Atma of all these Bhur Bhosva Vyahrutis, which are respectively Agni, Vayu, and the Aditya and Brahma, apnoti. What? Brahma Bhutaha Swarajyam. He will get Swarajya Prapti. What is Swarajya Prapti? The Swarat Bhavam. What is Swarat Bhava? He is nobody who is ruling him, and he himself is the ruler of the entire universe. That is called the identity with the Hiranyagarbhatva. Swarat Bhava apnoti. See, Swayam eva Raja or Adipati Bhavati. He will become the Adipati and Raja. For whom? Anga Bhutanam Devatanam. For all the Devatas who are the Anga. For example, Yatha Brahma. Like the Brahma Deva. You know, all the Indradi Devatas, Agni, Vayu, always they go to Brahma only. Bhumata. Brahma Deva ko pehle paas jate hai. He is the one to whom they all report. And to whatever extent he can do, he will do. When it is not possible to him, then he goes to Vishnu. Every time need not go to Vishnu, Brahmadeva hi khud hi kar dete. Like in all Bhagavad Purana, if you see the stories of all the Manus, not Hindi wala, the Manus akhad admi hai, the Manu Maharajas. They only go to Brahmadeva. Brahma only sorts wherever it can't be. Then, like the Bhumi has to come from Rasatala. Brahma cannot with 4 heads go there and bring. Therefore, he says Narayana, immediately Narayana comes as Varaha from the nose and he does the work. But invoking Narayana is done by Brahma only, no? Indra Ityadi cannot do directly. So, what is explained here? Like the Brahmadeva is reported by all the Devatas and he is a Samrat for all of them in the Pauranika Gada. Now, this is the Bhashyakara's Bhashya. And when Bhashyakara wrote it, in this beginning of this 2 centuries, 6th or 5th century, by that time all the Puranas Ityadi came, therefore this example comes. Like all Devatas to Brahma. Even the Veda mantras, they are the Hiranyagarbha Virat Purusha and all these Agni, Vayu, Indra, Aditya, Ityadi Devatas. Okay. Now, then comes Vakpatis, Chakshushpatis, Shrotrapatir, Vijnanavadihi, Etat Tato Bhavati, Akash, Shariram Brahma, Satyatma, Pranarama, Mananandam, Shanti Samruddham Amrutam, Iti Prachina Yogya Upasva. This whole bunch of 7-8 thoughts are there. As the result of these upasanas, tomorrow we will see. And if they are over, if the time is there, the Panta upasana also we try to see. If not, the next day. Thank you. Sarvam Narayana Arpanam Sarvam Parabrahma Charanaravindha Arpanam. Om 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 This serving the totality with our individual faculties is physically not possible because of so many constraints. Therefore, at the practical gross level, we have to serve with our Sharira, Mana, Prana, the people who come in our life, the things which are around us. But in the prayer level, at the level of prayers, which is free of cost, if you can pray for the physiological safety of everyone, the removal of hunger and thirst of everyone by getting food, for the shanti and sukha of everybody in the universe, then we are already using our faculties to serve society totality. That is why in our Sanatana Dharma, these great mantras at the end of all the upasanas, Swasti prajabhya paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha O brahmanebhya shamastu nityam, then loka samasta sukhino bhavantu kale varshatu parjanyah prithvi sasyashalini deshoyam kshobarayitah brahmanaः santu nirbhayaः sarvesham swastirvavatu sarvesham shantirvavatu sarvesham purnam bhavatu sarvesham mangalam bhavatu. Sarvesham swasti is physical, sarvesham shanti is hunger, sarvesham purnam is manaha, sarvesham mangalam bhavatu is buddhi. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah is as an individual, everybody should be happy. Sarve santu niramayaha, there is no nirama amaya of the avidya. Sarve bhadrani pashyantu means Let everybody visualize the Supreme Self. Ma kasya dukkha bhagavet. Therefore, nobody have any dukkha because of avidya. See the Upasana mantras, how powerful they are. So, at the practical level, like you are a person with little of money, you can feed 10 people. You can't feed 750 crores. But you can pray in the manner. "Your Lord, please give the food to all. May everybody get the food on right time." Regular that prayer. Equal to our serving the whole. This we are not doing consciously. कभी एक बार कहना नहीं, निरंतर मन में होना. Upasana is nirantarata. In the same way, everybody should be shanta in the mana. Everybody be intellectually grown up to protect themselves. Everybody should have the health and longevity. These are all the things when we pray, then we are serving the total. And practically, whatever you can do. That's why, the first people whom we have to serve at the Annapranamana is our own mother, father, and guru. That is why all those mantras will come. Matrudevaha, Petrudevaha, Acharya Deva. Then Atiti Deva. In that way, if you have the highly evolved intellect, which can connect every topic which are intermingled and which are beautifully woven in this Upanishad, that gives a very high level of joy. पर उतना दिमाग कहाँ है हमको सब याद रख के सबको कनेक्ट करके एक पूरा एक होल के रूप में दिखाना. इट्स ए होल थिंग. WHOL. It will come to us. If not this life, maybe after 1,000 lives. We will wait. क्या जल्दी है. Now let us study for a couple of slokas of our Vidraniti. And don't miss our evening class of Bhagavatam where we are doing our again this Upasanas of the Devata Shodashopachara. Lord Krishna is teaching his own authority now. Ramayanam also next 10 days. Please don't miss. We will be concluding that great grand epic which we are studying from 2 years. And Upanishad anyway, I can't compel you for the Upanishad because it's your ability more than your choice. सबको दिमाग पे नहीं चढ़ते हैं बातें. तो 2-4 लोग जो आए आ जाओ, नहीं तो नहीं. It's your choice. I am doing Upanishad for my sake. But other things for all of us. Thank you. Now let us do our Viduraniti.